And that's what the song say. And I can do all things. And I can do all things. And I can do all things.
Hey, Love Your Life family. Welcome back to another discussion about loving your life. It's Miss Crystal.
What's going on, fam? It's your brother Andre. We're excited to be with you. It is January 2022. We made it to a new year. So we're just excited about 2022, this year. New goals, new focuses. In addition to building upon the things that we know that we hold dear and that we're really concerned about as we look to move forward.
Absolutely. Real quick, this is for educational purposes only. If there's anything that is discussed on here where you feel like you need additional services, please contact the necessary professional to help you on your journey.
For sure, babe. So look, as we in 2022, one of the things that we always talked about is the importance of reflecting on, where we've been, where we are, and kind of also while simultaneously looking at kind of where we're going. What are some of your takeaways for the year 2021?
Definitely the importance and the beauty of slowing down.
Okay.
It's been an ongoing process. Being a wife, a mother of 4, kids actively involved in a lot of different things at school, and battling chronic illness, it's something that if you don't intentionally slow down, you don't appreciate the growth and where it's just like a task. We got to get to this task and that task. And so slowing down personally and teaching our kids the importance and the value of slowing down.
I concur with that. Slowing down. For those who may not know, that's not necessarily one of my best qualities. I have a tendency to get up in the morning, hit the ground running. I'm constantly looking to get stuff done early. I am a morning person. But that's one of the things that you definitely have taught me and are teaching me is being able to take the time to slow down and enjoy the ride. So I'm getting better at that. I agree with you on that. Definitely taking the time to slow down. For me, I would look at, as I look at 2021 and the things we accomplished, the things we worked on, it's just that consistency piece. Being consistent. Sometimes we have a goal set out in our mind of what we want to do. We have so many check boxes on our to-do list, and we're looking at check this. But it's important to be consistent. There are times where we may not always be able to check all the boxes every day of things we're trying to accomplish. But as long as we're being consistent and we're continually pushing that needle forward on whatever we're working on, I think that is so important. And so when I reflect upon 2021 and the things we accomplished, things we completed, I really look at that consistency piece was a huge part of that.
For real. I concur with you. It takes being intentional because, like I said, everything and everybody wants your time.
Yeah.
And truly being able to set that boundary in place so that you're not drained or you're not enjoying your life because you're great at a lot of things, but then now you're tapped out, you're frustrated. And then most of the time, I think life and the way things are set up is the people that deserve your quality time end up with leftovers because you've given so much of who you are to your job or to career, to education, to building your business. And we forget in the process, like we can literally run ourselves into the ground. So now that we've accomplished all these things, now we're too tired and exhausted to enjoy it.
Okay.
And so consistency is crucial. I think goals are easy to set, but a lot of times the slowing down, the necessity for slowing down is to build your system or your process to accomplish the goal while simultaneously setting realistic expectations. Because in the past, I remember, there were times I was setting goals and then I would work on the process and I'm like, well, this doesn't fit the season that I'm in. And so I would be frustrated trying to force something that was not for that season. Or I just had unrealistic expectations for my particular situation. And so slowing down over the last couple of years has helped me to assess my life, responsibilities, priorities, and then build the system to accomplish the goals so that we are pushing the needle forward.
Okay. So you mentioned slowing down, basically taking time to reflect. I mentioned consistency. When you think about 2021, now that we've crossed over into 2022, what are a couple of things that you feel like you really learned about yourself?
Man, what I'm good at. like
Okay.
being confident in what I'm good at and stop second guessing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, for me personally, because I have lived with a chronic illness, sometimes it's so easy to see what's wrong
Okay.
or how it's interfering with what I want to get done versus how productive I can be within a short amount of time.
Right.
I'm like, man, I'm actually really good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And acknowledging that it has cost us so much to be where we're at right now and to not acknowledge
Yeah.
our strengths. It's called imposter syndrome. And so making sure that I don't lean into that, but acknowledge why at times I do, but learning to like, you know what? No, you are pretty dope at this.
Now,
And
when you say imposter syndrome, just drill down a little bit. Exactly, what is that? When I get into in depth, but just kind of what does that actually mean? Imposter syndrome.
where it's almost like an unsatisfied, and maybe that might not be the proper word, but it's when you fail or struggle to see progress
Okay.
or what you are good at, acknowledging what you're good at because you see stuff that's not finished, not done.
Okay.
And so being able to celebrate where you're at, what you've accomplished, what it's cost you, and that you are good at it.
Right. So you would say then basically, if when you mention that term imposter syndrome, you're defining it as if you're constantly thinking about what you didn't do right, what's not working right, and you're never able to celebrate your successes, the things that are going well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would equate to that.
I would.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
Well, I think one thing that I learned about myself, and this is not necessarily a positive or negative, but it's true. I realized that as much as we talk about, as much as we've grown and we healed and we've learned and I've learned, there are still some areas that I feel like I'm still operating out of trauma. Now, what do I mean by that? Meaning, we have a loving relationship, marriage, love our kids, family. But I do know because of some, the years past of, raising children, looking at, the provision, being your caregiver, taking care of your needs. There are times that I need to be more consistent in taking care of the things that I need to do for me, or not even taking care of the things I need to do for me, but sometimes just being able to, you mentioned, slow down, enjoy the moment. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I catch myself not enjoying the moment like I should because I'm constantly thinking about, okay, as a father, as a husband, as a caregiver, the kids need this, you need this, I got to go get this fixed, I need to do that. And so sometimes when you're driving to vacation or you're getting ready or you're away, I spend sometimes more energy and effort than I need to about what I need to get finished or what needs to be fixed or worked on versus, okay, this is our time to enjoy. So that's actually one of my goals for 2022 is being self-reflective in the moment. Okay. Because it's easy you can set a clock or your timer and you say, okay, at such and such time, I'm going to spend some time reflecting on the day or the week or the month or the year. Mm-hmm. But I'm being conscious of being self-reflective in the moment. So like when I'm spending time, we're spending time as a family with friends or whatever, just soaking it all in the moment, enjoying the conversations, just really taking time. Even when I get away, do things that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. For me, just truly taking time to soak it in and not allow, these whatever goals or things that we have to do to interfere with that time of peace and enjoyment. So, yeah.
It's amazing, man, especially as you get older, you mature, mm-hmm. you maintain a growth mindset so mm-hmm. that you are continuing to evolve throughout the, different seasons of our lives. But it's crucial to remember, man, like all of us as humans have been through stuff and the unlearning of behaviors that we took on to survive mm-hmm. hard seasons or situations, circumstances that may have popped up during our lives. But man, when you acknowledge it, like, whoa, okay, I'm thinking like this because I went through this for 10 years mm-hmm. or 15 years. while extending grace to yourself while you're unlearning some things, and being able to communicate that to your loved ones
Right.
and be consistent with that. Like, look, I've acknowledged I may become a little short here or paranoid here or whatever the behavior is that you're emulating that's causing stress or frustration for within your relationships or towards yourself.
Mhm.
But being able to say, oh, you know what, this is because of what I went through, and now I'm doing the work to be consistent about breaking those behavior patterns,
Yeah.
because that season is gone.
Mhm.
Not that you don't learn from it, grasp the knowledge and the wisdom that that season produced for you, but that you're no longer there.
Yeah. No, that's good. And so as we enter into 2022, you know, in addition to talking about the things that, 2021, what we learned about us that we're working on, well, what I've brought into 2022, one of the goals is, again, taking time to be self-reflective in the moment, because that truly adds to like quality of life, just taking time to enjoy. 2021, before we just focus on this new year, what are there any other takeaways that stand out for you as we've closed 2021?
My thing is always protect your peace.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a huge one, but that's been ongoing, I would
Yeah.
say, for us, because even when we first married almost 20 years ago, that was something that we vowed that we would have peace in our home.
Yeah.
And obviously the last 2 years seems like an uptick in chaos, but making sure that that doesn't infiltrate our home.
Well, but see, I don't even think, for me, I don't look at the last 2 years as been an uptick in chaos. I think there's been a lot of external stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
externally,
yeah.
not within our
Right,
family.
right.
But that's to my point. Like all of the external chaos, we've maintained that boundary. There will be peace in our home.
Correct.
And not allowing it to infiltrate our peace because of all that's going on
Yeah.
within the world. And so I think that we've done a great job continuing to maintain that.
Yeah.
And as well as teaching others how to do that.
I agree. For sure, maintaining that peace, which I really believe, which is a huge, when I look at 2021, that year coming to a close, I think we did a great job of just that. You mentioned protect our peace, meaning being able to enjoy life, one another, family, friends, loved ones, using wisdom, but in the midst of, COVID, in the midst of testing, in the midst of, this political stance,
right.
In the midst of the arguing back and forth, the policy changes, so many things that you could easily drown yourself in.
Yeah.
For us being able to just take the time and not to get so bogged down with all of that we stopped enjoying one another in life. So I agree. That's a huge takeaway. And I want to stress even to, our viewers and our listeners, it's important to really take the time to enjoy your life and to not get caught up because there's always going to be something,
right.
And that's one of the things, even 20 years ago, now we've been married almost 20 years, we didn't realize the magnitude then, but we did take a stance on we can only control our lives and our household.
Right.
And so we've done a great job in that, just making sure that regardless of career, season, location, what was going on, there was a type of way that we were going to raise our kids, the type of environment we were going to raise them in. Mm-hmm. And we fought for that.
Right.
Meaning, difficult conversations with people, putting certain boundaries up. That was one of the things that for sure, in the midst of everything else, that was a real sticking point for us that we did a great job in. So, yeah.
I think also just within marriage, every year we continue to discover new things about each other because we're not the same people we were when we first met. Life has happened. There's been pain, there's been suffering, and there's been growth, there's been beauty, there's been joy.
Yeah.
And appreciating the beauty in each other within our marriage, the hard conversations, the stuff that we're like, man, how in the world did we get through this and survive that? But it's come through being honest, having hard conversations, because that's how you grow. And so I always think it's important that what you see within marriage and marriages that are thriving, that it costs the people that are in that relationship to have this. This is not easy,
Right.
but it's beautiful because we've worked for it to be beautiful.
Yeah. Even as you were talking, what comes to mind, even now as we really have obviously entered in the new year, January 1st, 2022, what really stands out to me is the word authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think for us, I know for us, in spite of what was going on, being authentic to who we are, what we're seeking to accomplish, family, friends, and loved ones, what people see is what, who we are is what they see and what they get.
Right.
And for us, I want to make sure that we continue that. I mean, we don't know anything else but that, being authentic. Mm-hmm. Not trying to put on a show, just being down to earth, but real, but authentically us, versus trying to emulate someone else, trying to do what someone else does.
That's exhausting.
But just taking time to be who we are, and that's okay. That's right. A good thing. And so, for sure, I'm excited about this year, 2022. I'm excited about what's on the horizon. I'm excited about some of the things that we're working on, different projects, the life coaching piece, the holistic health.
Doulaing,
I mean, it's so I'm excited.
Around the topic of consistency, I want our audience to think about something. Where you are at right now required consistency. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ugly, or a combination of it all. Mm-hmm. It took you being consistent at what you're doing right now to be where you are today. Mm-hmm. And that applies to all humanity. And so if you have an unrest about where you're at right now, identify what is it that I need to shift, and then be consistent at it in order to produce where I'm trying to go. Yeah. Consistency. You know how to be consistent. It just may not be consistent in an area that's bringing healing or bringing life and health to you. Gotcha. And so I think that we all have to be honest with that. Like, okay, if whatever the issue is, mm-hmm. it requires consistency for you to be where you're at today. And so set realistic goals, set realistic expectations, but the work is building the process, building the system to accomplish that goal and sticking with it. And it doesn't have to be extreme. And I'm saying that because I think that in the world that we live in, it's push intensity, quick, hard, fast, do this, level up, whatever the issue is. Mm-hmm. But if you would just be consistent at that 1 to 2 things that you need to, and once you've maintained a level of consistency where now it's a habit, then moving on. And that goes back to setting realistic expectations for yourself.
I like it. Consistency, authenticity. Yeah. I think that also ties into knowing who you are and knowing your market. So whatever it is you're working on, I mean, it's okay to not compromise who you are and what you bring to the table. Yeah. Regardless of your business that you're in or what you're working on, there's going to always be people that you may not be able to attract, or people that are not, flocking to what you have to offer. And that's okay. Yeah. As long as you're okay and confident in yourself to not try to change and be something different just for the sake of people. And I understand, business and so forth, but at the end of the day, whatever your product is, whatever your service is, I would encourage, make sure it's authentically you. Yes. Because there's a market for authenticity. And people are in need of just real rawness, radical, versus this image of something that truly doesn't exist. Right. And so,
chasing an illusion.
Right. At the end of the day, when I'm hurting, I'm struggling. I'm going through. There's no point me trying to act like I'm Superman. I don't hurt, cry. I need help. I always have that, keep that relationship with us. But even my close circle, friends, family, and loved ones. Right. At the end of the day, why would I value friends, family, and loved ones if I can't be real with them?
That's real. That's
the part of, having people that you're connected to, that you love, you trust, you enjoy spending time with, you can be real with, and they can be real with you. I had a conversation with one of my homeboys, actually last week, and I shared with him, I said, man, if I ever get to tripping or slipping in some areas, I value your friendship, and your honesty. You need to let me know straight up.
Yeah.
You know, we're friends. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we love each other. Families have grown close. But our friendship needs to come with consistent transparency. And I was basically like challenging him and letting him know, like, listen, don't see something that, you know, needs to be addressed, and for the sake of our relationship, you don't say anything.
Right.
You know, and same thing I'd share with him is like, listen, bro, you know, I love you enough to share with you if there's some areas that you know, I want you to be mindful of. Not that you have to listen to me,
Right.
but or do as I say, but I owe it to you to at least share my thoughts on the matter. I think that's true friendship, true people that you love and care about. If I'm walking off a cliff and you love me, but you don't give me any warning,
Right.
you know, how deep is that love? You know, and so that's, man, these are things that we're definitely taking with us in 2022 for sure.
Yeah, because where you invest your time is a game changer. And if you're not in spaces that are helping you, but they're harming you, going back, you always got, I'm the why person, like drill down to the why, look at the root system so that you can begin to implement healthy patterns that are going to help you get around people, accountability, because this is your time. Your time is so precious. Man, time is so precious and valuable. And so why exhaust yourself around people that aren't doing anything or adding anything to your life? And so, yeah, it goes back to taking an introspective look at yourself and continuing to do the work so that you can grow, which is always the goal.
Cool. Growth mindset, growing, moving forward, learning from your mistakes. We call it failing forward.
Yes.
It's not failing, it's failing forward, meaning you're learning from your mistakes. That's how we learn. So what would be a key piece of, now, as we are in the year 2022, New Year's Day, January 1st, 2022. I got to get used to saying that. What is one key piece of advice that you would like to share with people?
I think a big one is realistic expectations, and that means mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you are actively taking an introspective look, looking within, and stop chasing stuff that is not real for you right now, and knowing what stuff you need to release, and your time is valuable, and it is precious. And get accountability around you. We all need accountability, honesty in order to truly grow. And so that's the first one I would start with.
Gotcha. Similar to what you just said, I think I would say pay yourself first. And we've heard that in the term financially, when you get paid, make sure you pay yourself first. But I'm going to take it a little step further. It's not just financially, meaning take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
We got up this morning, went for a walk. You know, before that, you know, I was exercising. And so these are things that I close year 2021 out with. But even as we've entered 2022, I'm taking care of myself first, meaning because I can't be the husband I need to be if I let myself go. I can't be the father I need to be if I don't take care of my health needs. And so not from a selfish lens, but from a healthy, holistic, balanced approach. I can be the best me when I take care of me so that I can be the husband I need to be, the father I need to be. And so I want to stress in the realm of health, diet, exercise, finances, quality time, enjoyment, pay yourself first. Do those things that you need to do that refreshes you, that strengthens you. Because out of you becomes, you know, out of who you are as an individual, as a husband, wife, you know, out of you, there's life. You can bring life or death, and we choose life.
Yes. So,
hey, it's been real, fam. 2022, January 1st, 2022. I got to get used to saying that. It's been real. We're excited to be with you. You'll be seeing us on not only podcast, audio, but video as well. Look, we're always moving forward. We preach what we say. We also live by it as well. And so these are things that we're working on. So we look forward to seeing you. We look forward to hearing from you as well. We're going to be reaching out. Babe, tell them where they can check us out at.
You can check us out on all your podcast media outlets, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and YouTube, baby.
Peace. So listen, it's been real. We love you. God bless.
Shout to the city that raised me. Shout to the people that made me. I'm from the 80s. I don't think mumbling wavy. I grew up black on a Jay-Z. Maybe I'm crazy. I ain't been wondering lately. Feel like it's there for the taking. Feel like I'm good with the changes. Know who I am. And that's the most dangerous thing.